Good afternoon or morning.
Put anything in place, put it in place quickly now.
Yeah.
FC Series, we appreciate you guys being here. Welcome you to the Match Day -1 press conference. We've got Phil Parkinson here with us. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's been an enjoyable couple days since you were here in North Carolina, and if you can open with a brief statement, then we'll open for questions from the crowd.
Yeah, obviously delighted to be here. We've had 2 good days so far training. Really enjoyed it. The lads have adapted well, and yeah, we're looking forward to a terrific game on Wednesday night.
All right, if you have questions, raise your hand.
Phil, Michael from WCHO. I assume this is your first time in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. What are your thoughts on this place so far?
Yeah, so impressive. The university campus is just amazing. The facilities are incredible. All the lads are kind of blown away by it, and been very well looked after as well. I have to say that they've been so welcoming, and can't do enough for us, which is great. But it's been very interesting for us all to get a taste of university life over here in the USA, and we've had a good talk from Richard, who looks after all the sports teams, explaining to the lads about how many trophies the university's won and all the sports that they competed. So yes, we've enjoyed it.
Wanted to ask, you previously had some staff out in North Carolina for I think it was the TST
Yeah.
7-a-side tournament. They kind of reported back just how great the support was here. What have you heard about it, and what kind of environment are you expecting on Wednesday?
Yeah, obviously we had a few of the staff who were with us on this trip over there, and they came back, and first of all they enjoyed that experience. It was didn't quite know what to expect going into the tournament, but they got a real good feel for it, and yeah, said there was good support for Wrexham in the area, which obviously is fantastic for us and made us all the more eager to get out here and be a part of it.
I'll go again. This is going to be a chance, obviously, for you guys to test your talent against someone in competition.
Yeah.
What does a successful match tomorrow look like?
Yeah, I think for us, it's obviously pre-season progression. We're 2.5 weeks away from the season starting, and physically, it's a good workout for all the players you get on the pitch. Make sure the physical data is high where it needs to be, comparable to where we need to be when our season starts. And also an understanding we're up against a top-class team, and it might be an evening where they have more possession than we do, but that's great for us to work on our structure without the ball, because football is about both sides of the game, with and without the ball. We played Manchester United last year at their training ground, and that was a fantastic exercise for us, and I expect Wednesday night to be no different. So as always, when you pull on a Wrexham shirt, there's an expectation to give a good account of yourself individually and collectively, and that's what we're looking to do. But it's the progression as a team, and more the physical side of it we'll be looking at on Wednesday.
Take one in the center here, and then one next.
Phil, Ben Jacobs. How surreal is this pre-season tour? I know you're used to the cameras and the Hollywood aspect, but how surreal is it to be heading into pre-season playing with teams like this?
Yeah, well, me and Sean were just saying that a couple of years ago when me and Sean met, about when we both come on board and we were talking about plans, that I don't think we expected 2 years later to be playing in front of 50,000 people over here. A couple of years ago, or last year, we were playing Nantwich Town in our first official pre-season game, and now we're playing Chelsea. So it is, you're right, it is got that surreal feel to it, but it's part of the kind of journey at Wrexham and the profile of the club and what the owners have created. So yeah, it's been an enjoyable kind of journey for everybody. We loved last year getting promotion, but it's now fully focused on the season ahead.
If I may just follow up briefly, the other surreal thing in your career was when you were at Bradford.
Yeah.
You also beat Chelsea, and I know that you put that right up there with your achievements. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it was for Jose Mourinho was managing Chelsea, and they very rarely conceded goals at Stamford Bridge. They were a very, very difficult team to play against. We went 2-0 down in the game, but even at 2-0 down, we were playing okay. We'd had a couple of chances ourselves, and just before half time, we got a goal back, and there was a belief in the dressing room. And the second half, we kicked to 6,000 Bradford fans, and played with a great intensity and belief. And sometimes even for a great manager like Mourinho and great players, we just caught them on the back foot, and they didn't respond, and we went on to win the game 4-2. So yeah, memorable occasion in FA Cup history, really, because the FA Cup is all about giant killing acts, and that was amazing to be part of that.
Hi Phil, Nizar from the Evening Standard. I just wanted to ask you, as a sort of opportunity, how big is this for Wrexham to have these big showpiece friendlies, and how much will it help you next season almost, because you'll generate all this revenue from these huge events?
Yeah, that's obviously important, because we've still got some squad building to do before the season starts or before the window closes. But I think it's always good for players to play in front of big crowds, expectations, under the spotlight, because as the season goes on, the pressure kind of mounts for all teams and vying hopefully at the top of the table, and it's always a good indicator how the players react to those pressure games. And last year in the FA Cup, we played Coventry and Sheffield United, high-profile games for us, and I thought they were a great benchmark for what was to come towards the end of the season, when the pressure really mounted in those crucial games towards the end, when we had to win to get promotion.
Hi Phil. It kind of follows on from the surreal element in some ways. I'm sure you've had loads of those questions over the last few months. But just being here, and last night I was watching one of the news channels, and the sports section led on Wrexham being here, and the second thing was on Messi. I just wondered your thoughts on that, but also, having been here for a couple of days, have you had a sense of the impact that Messi coming to the States has had, and the growing interest in the sport?
Yeah, I mean, the people I've been speaking to over here, everyone's talking about the Messi signing, obviously, because it is an incredible signing for them to attract him to the club. And if anything's really going to lift the profile of the game, it's that signing, because you go back to the World Cup, and even at 35, 36, he was outstanding, and he's just a little genius, and the American people are going to enjoy watching him so much. So yeah, definitely picked up a sense of the excitement of Messi being here, and I think everybody in the room, and we'd all pay a lot of money to be in a stadium to watch him play. Unfortunately, Sean couldn't arrange a friendly against him, which we'll all be moaning at him.
Well, have you seen many examples of Wrexham mania, and how people dealing with you in the streets? I know you've only been here a few days, but what's the reaction been to you guys and the players?
Yeah, when we've had a walk into the town, there's been quite a few people coming up to us and speaking about the club, which is great. And I went on my own family holiday to Europe, actually, and there was a lot of Americans in the same resort coming up to me speaking about Wrexham, which I was a bit surprised at the time, but that was equally great to listen to how much they knew about the team. It wasn't just there's people coming on. I've watched all the games. I've watched every game I can. I've watched, and knew all the players, and a lot of people, a lot of American people had a great knowledge of the team, which for our players, it's just amazing.
Are you quite enjoying celeb lifestyle?
Yeah, I think it's the camera crew following us around. We've all kind of got used to that, and we've built a great relationship with the production team as well, which is so important, because we know that's telling the story of the club and the area, and what Rob and Ryan have set out to achieve. And this is just the start for the club. I really believe that, because there's so much growth left in the club, and we're delighted, obviously, to get over the line last year, because it was such a key moment to get out of the National League, and now we're looking very excited about building the club forward.
Hi Phil, Alexander from BBC. Just touching on what you said about the effect it could have on your players, do you think this can have a big effect, like you say, them playing game, a lot of pressure as you kick on. Can it make your players want to pull more out of themselves early on in the season?
Yeah, well, I mean, we speak a lot to the players about separating the kind of the profile of the club and the documentary and the Hollywood element with the running the hard yards in training on a Saturday afternoon, and that's, I feel the lads have done that well. You know, the staff have kind of managed the group really well, because first of all, it's important to be humble at all times, not get carried away with ourselves, because you know there's teams who will be desperate to beat us in our league, and you know everywhere we go, we went last year, it was like the opposition's cup final. So yeah, remaining humble at all times, and remember we're representing Wrexham, which is a working class town, and we've got a responsibility to make sure our supporters, you know, can sense that kind of passion the players have got for the football club.
Thank you. Third row.
Hi Phil, Rodrigo Lara from Haters. I would like to ask you about Ben Foster's, how important is in the squad for
Yeah.
the next season, and if you are a fan of his YouTube vlogs.
Well, I've watched a few of his stuff, which is always entertaining. Fozzie, I mean, listen, it's a great story really when we brought him in, and obviously the penalty save against Notts County, and we left him for about 10 days to 2 weeks before we had the chat about him coming back, because I wanted the kind of the euphoria to die down. But when I spoke to him, he was straight away, yeah, I really fancy it. I feel in good shape, and I feel with the pre-season, he thought he can be even better. And I've said lots of times about Fozzie that he epitomises what we want, where of course there is a profile with him as a player, there's a lot of attention, but when he trains, he's incredibly professional. And for our players to have an England international in the camp and see his professionalism, his attention to detail, the way he trains, it is great for our younger players. And yeah, he's great to work with. If you saw him out there in training today, you know, he's 40 years of age, and you're literally holding him back. So, you know, yeah, what a character to have on board.
Caroline Garden, USA Today for the win. When you have the squad come over and you're going to be here for a few weeks, how do you balance getting the guys to see and experience and enjoy a trip like this with knowing that there's so much that they can learn from on the pitch?
Yeah.
And did you have much familiarity, if at all, with Chapel Hill before arriving with this as your first time?
Yeah, no, I personally didn't have much familiarity with the university and the area. But yeah, no, we've had a couple of chats with the lads about, we want this trip, we want them to, you know, embrace each area we're in and find out what the area's all about. We had a talk last night in the hotel. The lady who's coordinating the trip for us gave the lads a talk about the university, but other things in the area as well, because sometimes on football trips you go from the hotel to the training ground and you go home and people say, what was the area like? You say, I didn't see it. And I don't want that to happen on this trip. I want the lads to experience, you know, getting the most out of each day. So that's training, but also experience each area we go to. So when we go back, you know, we've got a story to tell wherever we've been. So yeah, it's a good question, and it's something as a staff we've been speaking about a lot. We want the lads to get a feel for each area.
Go to San Diego Zoo.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. You know, Sean's got some things organised for us later in the trip, and I think it's really important to do that, because you know this is you know an opportunity for a club at this level to come to America. You know, that doesn't happen normally, so we're going to make the most of it.
Also wanted to ask one of those stops here, I believe it's UNC Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
If you could just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, myself and the staff and players went to the hospital yesterday to visit the kids, and yeah, that was just it's very moving when you do things like that back home and obviously here, and you know, it was great for the players to speak to the young kids who obviously got problems, and life is tough for them at the moment, but you know, they're getting really well looked after. The staff were so impressive, and not just the patients. It was great to meet the staff in the hospital as well.
Thinking about not getting ahead of yourselves, how
Yeah.
hard is that to manage as a coach? Because I think it's quite easy to get swept up in the whole Hollywood story.
Yeah.
How has it been to keep them?
Yeah, I think first of all, work ethic on a football pitch, and at any level, any period in football, getting a group of lads who are going to work for each other, and no egos on the football pitch, no superstardom is key to getting promotion. And we've worked very hard to recruit the right characters in the club, and the selection process to bring the lads in. We know that players have got to deal with kind of exposure and not get carried away with that and separate it from the day-to-day work. So I think the lads get it. They've got an understanding of it. Obviously, it's my job and the rest of the staff job to keep reminding them, and that comes from every day in training. The standards high, and every game that a Wrexham team can't come off the pitch and be outworked. And that's a mantra that when teams come to the racecourse, if it doesn't go our way and we don't get the result, we've got to make sure the opposition have been really put under pressure in all areas of the football pitch, and that's what we try and do. And so far, that's served us really well.
And have you had a chance to reflect personally just on your own management career and where you've gone and the ups and downs, and you're now sat here in America pre-season tour?
Yeah, management is about ups and downs, and it's being resilient, because you've got to at any level as a manager, because you have tough times within the season, from season to season, but equally enjoying the good times. And a promotion is the accumulation of a lot of work, and the players, the backroom staff, Sean, and all the people who work behind the scenes at the club. An incredible amount of work went into to achieve what we did last year, and obviously enjoying every minute of it.
Tactics are obviously something that you have the chance to kind of tweak
Yeah.
in friendlies like this. Anything that you can reveal to us at this time about kind of lineup tactics in the jersey?
Well, like I said earlier, that this is a good exercise for us, because realistically, Chelsea will have a large percentage of possession, you'd imagine, because obviously the quality of the players, and that's we're not saying the lads, when we got the ball we want to play our game, but it's at our level, or the level we've been at, we tend to dominate a lot of the games with the ball. So this is kind of a reverse of that. So yeah, it's a good exercise. So tactically, we've got to set ourselves up to press when it's on the press, and to make sure we're nice and compact when we drop in, and that's what we've been working on this morning with the players, and we'll continue to do that before the kick-off tomorrow night.
From the outside, we can see the social media accounts. We can see different sponsors get added to the jersey as people follow along. How is the internally felt support-wise, especially from Rob and Ryan, and that's how we kind of visualize the support from the outside. But internally, what has that support system been like from the top down?
Fantastic. The owners have been incredibly supportive. They always want to, what they say they're going to do, they want to implement it. So they don't make false promises. They're just very genuine people. And for me as a manager, they've let me get on with the job. And any time, I need to touch base with them about anything, they have been incredibly supportive. And they're great to work with, and I think you've seen how much they've enjoyed the journey so far.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate the time.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed that. Thank you.